change has a reason. Baby, let it come to you. Every soul, every season lives outside of status quo. If we stop believing we're meant to be, expanding our abilities.
Hi everyone, Jen here. I've had several requests to do a video tour of our fruit cellar and explain just how we put up all our food for the winter. Well, viewers, what a great suggestion. So that's exactly what I am going to do today. What you're gonna see in this short video is all of the food that we have grown organically ourselves or we have bought from local farmers. It helps get our large family of 8 through the winter with plenty left over to share with friends and family. And the processes and organization, the system we use to put up all this food saves our family so much money. It's one of the ways we get by on a shoestring budget each and every year. And it means that as a mom, I can not only be budget friendly, but I can provide really healthy, nourishing food for my family, which makes me feel really good. So let's get started. Join me in the fruit cellar today.
Something is behind the clouds.
All right, so before we really get into things, I have to apologize about the echo in here, and you can probably hear my buzzy freezers as well. But as we get into the tour, you're gonna understand that it's a good thing that it echoes in here, why it does, and how that helps keep our food cool, dry, and lasting all winter long. I'm also gonna be going into exactly how we built this fruit cellar in case you wanna do that yourself in your own home, or if you're building from new, or you're trying to add on a fruit cellar in your existing home. I wanna go into some of those details because I think that's really important because, I mean, you can try to put up a whole bunch of food for the winter, but if it's all kept in a room where everything kind of gets moldy and gross, then it does you absolutely no good at all. So to start, we're going to just tour here how we built this fruit cellar. So you can see that the walls are all made of concrete, and that's because it's underneath our front porch. So this porch spans about 30 feet in width, and it's a perfect place to build a fruit cellar underneath, because you can't really build like a rec room or a living space under a porch. So this is great dead space to use for food storage. And then you want to make sure that you have adequate ventilation. That's very important. So we have lots of vents in our front porch that have vent covers on the front so that you don't get any animals coming down into your fruit cellar. And here you can see we plumbed in our sump pump in the fruit cellar, and then we made sure to put lots of electrical in here so that we had good lighting. That's very important for me, that it's happy and cheerful when you come into the fruit cellar, not dingy and dark. And then as we were adding in that wiring, we added lots of outlets. So these outlets here I use for a dehumidifier in case it does get damp down here. And then behind our freezers, we have multiple outlets as well. You can see here then that there is foam insulating certain sides of the concrete between our house and the fruit cellar, which keeps it well insulated. We also store some spare paint down here. I do have affiliate links below for a lot of the canning products we find extremely helpful for preserving, so check those out if you're a beginner and don't know where to start. And then the floor, it was important to me that it wasn't just bare concrete, so we did paint it with a really high durable paint. And then we have a sealed door between our house and the fruit cellar. I also think this is very important. If you have an existing fruit cellar that you're having trouble with, try putting a sealed steel door on it, and this way, first of all, we're not going to get any off-gassing from the concrete in our fruit cellar into the rest of our house or radon, and second of all, it keeps the space cool in the fruit cellar when the rest of the house is warm. It was important, the placement for me, so we planned in our blueprints to put our fruit cellar directly at the bottom of the steps to our kitchen. So excuse the clothes on the steps there, but you can see here then I can basically go straight down from our kitchen to the fruit cellar to get anything I need out of the freezer or the pantry down there. Now, looking here, we've got applesauce. I will double this with more applesauce at the end of October from new apples. And our peaches are here. We did about 63 quart jars of peaches, and we bought them from a local Mennonite. Maybe you saw my canned peaches with me video. And then we've got Andrew's hot peppers. He has to have those. And the jalapenos did so well this year. We had the plants were just loaded. So we got lots of those and hot sauce. And then relish, we normally do cucumber relish as well as zucchini relish. It just, to me, it can't compare to store-bought. It tastes so much better homemade. So we'd always have homemade relish every single year and use an old relish grinder to make it. And here we've got some peach jam and some apple butter. Apple butter, I will be adding so many more jars because we give them away as Christmas gifts, but I wait until October or November to make it. And then we've got our tomatoes. We actually did just stewed tomato this year that I can use in chilies, soups, and stews. And we had a huge tomato crop. I had to laugh. On Instagram, I showed a video of making homemade tomato soup, and somebody commented on how horrible my tomato plants looked and that I needed to prop them up more. And I don't think they realized we do have cages, we do have buckets to prop them up, but this was the very end of the season. And here in Ontario, the end of the season, tomato plants they really die off like this. And then you have to quickly pick anything that's ripe. We've got some canned pears up there as well. And then our garlic. So the garlic we plant every fall, and then it will come up in the spring and grow all summer long. And you maybe saw also on Instagram my photo of us drying it on the back porch. You actually will pick it when it's ready and dry it for like at least a week or two on the back porch before washing, trimming, and putting down in your fruit cellar. And we just keep them in a basket like this. These will last till next June. Salsa was a ton of cutting and chopping this year. My kids helped me out so much with that. Thank you, kids. There is nothing like homemade salsa, so delish. And then our pickles, you'll see on the left there were our 9-day sweet pickles. This is a process that takes time, and you have to take the time to do it to get the delicious taste. And there is no pickle that you can buy in a store that tastes like 9-day sweet pickles you do yourself. It is totally worth the effort. I have a video all about that, as well as lots of other canning videos I will link for you guys if you're interested in making them yourself. So good. I love bringing out these pickles at Christmas time. And then something to keep in mind when you're building shelving for a fruit cellar is to make sure it can hold a ton of weight. Just think about how much these jars weigh. If you have hundreds of jars loaded full of stuff, you need reinforced shelving, really strong shelving. Flimsy stuff is not going to do it. So my husband did a really good job, and I like to paint the shelves so you can wipe them down easily if things spill, overflow, or get moldy. So you want to put a heavy-duty paint on. And now our onions. This is only about 1/5 of the onions we had this year. I used so many in canning our relish and salsa and pasta sauces, and we cooked with them all summer long. And then they're the same as the garlic, where you will pick them once they're ready and you will dry them out on your back porch and then just wash them. And I lay them out on newspaper in our fruit cellar because then if any of them rot or anything, it's not going to spoil the whole basket of them. And then the newspaper is just something easy to clean up at the end of the season. These will last down here for months like this. Hey guys, have you clicked the like button yet? That really helps this video out. It helps it gain traction on YouTube. So if you're liking what you see, don't forget to like it below. And our squash, you can see I've got acorn squash, spaghetti squash, butternut squash up here. I also have pumpkins coming up in my garden. You'll know if you watched my fall sustainable decorate video that the front porch is just overflowing with pumpkins and squash and zucchini, and I've been picking things off my front porch to cook with. But you can see in our garden, we just let all the vines go together for all the different types of squash and pumpkin and zucchini, and they are now ready to be picked and stored out on newspaper. We just wash them, dry them, set them on newspaper just like this. Our freezers. This year my husband painted the tops to get rid of the rust stains with Tremclad, and they look like brand new. But our little freezer is traditionally for meat storage. Now we're just waiting on a cow and a pig right now, so I am storing some other things in there, like for example, fresh peaches. So these peaches I would just toss in lemon juice. And you can store things in glass jars in your freezer, totally. These are just old applesauce jars from the store, and you can see by the writing on the top, they've been used multiple times. We have 6 chickens here from a friend who raises organic chickens for us, and you can see what I have left here of our grass-fed beef. We get half a cow every single year, and in a couple months we'll be getting another one. So in this big freezer, we've got kind of bread and baking on one side and preserved food on the other. So I've got freezer strawberry jam here. So I've got a mix of freezer jam and traditionally canned jam this year. And I also have jarred berries. So these are currants. We grew red and white currants. We just have bushes right outside our back porch that our kids love to pick. The neighbors love to eat them with them. And we absolutely love these currants in baking. So lemon muffins or pancakes. They are really high in vitamin C and antioxidants. So when we freeze them, we just put them, these are just old salsa jars from the store, and we can just get out whatever we need for each batch from the jar each time. And then we have bagged veggies. So lots of green beans this year. I couldn't believe how much we got off of our plants. Like it was like the never-ending story of green beans this year. Our favorite thing to do with green beans is just to blanch them and then to flash fry them in a pan with maple syrup, some brown sugar, garlic, and bacon. And then we also put grated zucchini when we have too much zucchini to cook with throughout the summer, and then I'll use that zucchini for muffins or loaves all winter. And we also picked strawberries at a local picking farm, and we have lots of bags of these where we can take them out for smoothies or desserts all winter. I should mention that we reuse Ziploc bags in our house so that we're using less plastic. I really don't like to use plastic, but there's times when you have to, so we reuse our bags. And then jars for everything else. So here we've got some cooked pumpkin left over in a jar. And then this side of the freezer holds baked goods for school lunches and just that sort of thing. I wanted to mention carrots. We had a huge carrot crop this year. Look how giant these carrots are. But we have been eating them all summer long, and you didn't see them down in my fruit cellar because we're actually storing them in our fridge this year. You can store them in your fruit cellar for sure, but our kids really like fresh carrots in their lunches, so we just washed them and bagged them up. I should say my husband washed them and bagged them up. Good job, Andrew. And then these will store in the fridge for like a really long time, like at least 6 to 8 weeks before they start to go a little soft on you, at which point you can totally cook them and put them back in bags and put them in the freezer. And our sweet peppers, I forgot to mention, you didn't see them down in the fruit cellar because, well, first of all, I used a ton of them for salsa all summer long and for eating fresh. But we also dice them and have them in baggies in the freezer for recipes all winter long. So guys, thanks so much for coming along on this tour with me today. It was my pleasure to share a glimpse of our bounty with you in the hopes that it will encourage you and inspire you to get something started yourself, even if it's just a little bit. Even if you only have enough space to maybe make a batch of jam for the winter, that's still something, that's still awesome. You definitely don't need to go maybe all out like our family does. Small steps are big steps too. Keep watching some of these videos to the side of me here. I can't wait to see you there, and I hope you have a wonderful day. For the least, this is Jen.